5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to Cultivated Live on Cultivated's LinkedIn and YouTube channels. I am joined today by Raj Grover. He is the founder, president, and CEO. It's a very long title of HITI Inc. Raj, nice to see you.
Hello, Jay. Great to be here with you.
I'm glad we could make this work before we came on talking about all things Canada. And before we get to other things, let's talk Canada for a second, because I feel like it's every few weeks we get a press release in our inbox about new Canna Cabanas opening up in places where you operate. I know the number's over 200 right now, but give us a snapshot of sort of your retail footprint in Canada right now.
I'll do that, but the reason of every 2 weeks keeping those press releases going is to make sure beautiful platforms like yourself that gives us a chance to speak about what we're doing. Don't forget about us. So that's why they're 2 weeks. We're at 207 now, operating across 5 Canadian provinces that we have been from the beginning: Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia.
That's a big footprint. It's the largest, I think? And
can be bigger. It is the largest. Canna Cabana is absolutely the largest brand by far in the country, with 207 locations. But it can be bigger, and it will be bigger.
And can I dive into that, because this is of very local interest to me? And I don't know. I know the press releases are coming in, and we do talk about them on the platform. But are they licenses that people are giving up? Are they net new locations? Is it a combination of both? Like of the ones that are opening up now, even in some saturated markets or seemingly saturated markets, like, are they net new shops in new locations that are cannabis now that were something else, or were they cannabis before and you're taking over, or is it a blend?
Net new shops. We're very particular about our real estate strategy. And there's a reason why a cannabis shop is exiting and leaving a particular street or a power center or a plaza. And unless we're dead sure that opportunity works, we're not going there. So it's absolutely net new real estate that we get.
So thinking about that, and then we'll get to other things, because I'm just fascinated by this. Looking at the landscape now in Canada versus other places, even looking at it in places in the States, which we sort of observe what's happening there. Do you think people don't generally put enough thought into location and to real estate when they're opening up, because they're generally in such a rush to get the license open up that they don't have a view to, like, we could get a license and put it there, but you would look at that and say you should not put it there, even if it fits all the other requirements?
I've been smiling throughout as you've been speaking. I mean, despite the fact that we have the best retail model in cannabis, I continue to say that, and our numbers speak for themselves. I think we've focused a lot on our real estate strategy right from the beginning. We've seen a lot of demise take place in Canada for a lot of these independent shops, and also some of the regional operators, even many of the larger chains. I won't name any of them, keeping it classy. But the biggest problem that I noticed in all of this was, of course, your model has to be differentiated in a highly competitive environment like Canada. But if you're getting your location wrong, you don't get second chances in cannabis. There's absolutely no second chances in cannabis. And I think 60% of the landscape in Canada has got it wrong. No kidding. But that's also an opportunity for HITI. I mean, I continue to enter some of the most saturated areas. I was just giving an example just prior to this interview started, and we are seeing a lot of success because we will not sacrifice on a location. Given our brand strength, as long as the real estate quality stands up for itself, we're going to do very, very good in that location, and we're going to stick to that.
Can I ask one more very micro question about that? Because when you started, and when we sort of all entered the industry, when retail was opening up, conversations with would-be landlords, I think, were difficult. Has that eased up? Like, and maybe not with everybody, but with you, meaning, you are a known quantity, you are a good tenant, you care about everything that's happening in the rest of the shopping environment. Like, have those conversations gotten easier when it comes to real estate?
Absolutely. Has that ever eased up? It's music to my ears these days when we get the incoming call. Raj, we put together this, beautiful spot in Toronto. It's called The Well, and RioCan wanted us in there. They didn't want anybody else, but they wanted us in there. That's just one of the examples I'm giving you. But we get many of these inbound calls now, given our execution, given that we've stood the test of time, while others have folded, even with a lot deeper pockets than we have. We have the public company covenant. Our financial covenant is a lot stronger than others, but very importantly, and most importantly, it's a highly differentiated retail model that stood the test of time in cannabis, at least in Canada, for 6 years now. And people are really appreciating our business. Most importantly, the larger landlords that I was just talking about. And we get the first dibs on some of the best quality locations that are now available in Canada.
Yeah, for those that don't know, and I know most of our audience probably doesn't, but The Well is the premier, I don't even know, like I can't even say enough about it. It is the fanciest, nicest, newest office tower, residential tower. All the cool restaurants have gone in there. It's like, and it happens to be unbelievably beautiful, right in the heart of downtown Toronto, and used to be the location was the home of our paper of record here in Canada, the Globe and Mail. But unbelievable location for sure. And that is a tidal wave difference of what it used to be, right? Like it's used to be, I imagine you'd knock on doors and people like wouldn't even answer.
And we're the discount club model, and they still wanted a beautiful store there, right?
Right.
They still thought we are the best cannabis store that can be there, and we were solicited with that one, and we signed off.
So okay, we're gonna zoom out from my neighborhood in Toronto and think about the European landscape, because you guys made a big acquisition. You're going to tell us about the deal in Germany. We've talked about Germany before. Talk a little bit about the deal that you closed, what it means for you, for that company, and even for the German market, and sort of why you guys are so bullish on that.
Yeah, for sure. Look, we've been looking at the German market for quite some time. We're retail guys, so our ambition is to plant as many Canna Cabana stores as possible in high quality locations, whether it's Canada or it's elsewhere. We will get elsewhere as well in time. We've been monitoring the model project situation in Germany. We filed an application. We worked very hard, probably for 9 months to get that all going. But that was still not set in stone. It's still not set in stone whether we're going to get that license or anyone is going to get that license for now. But then, while we were doing that homework, we put 2 and 2 together, and we saw ourselves sitting in this beautiful part of the supply chain where we are the largest customer in this country for all of the Canadian licensed producers, which are 50%, approximately 50% of all imports that are making their way into Germany are Canadian imports. We're the largest customer of all of these licensed producers. So we're like, wait a second, we don't want to grow. This is not about growing. This is retail distribution, import, export. This exactly fits our personality. What we're already doing, we would love to showcase our partners in fantastic light in Germany through Remexian, which is what ended up happening, but that was the original plan. In terms of how we were looking at the market. And then when we started doing some real prospecting in Germany, we found out this is the opportunity for us because Canadian brands are very active in Germany, but they're not being represented well. So we came up with this Canadian House of Brands approach that we want to now start implementing at Remexian. But I couldn't be more happy, Jay, in terms of doing this deal with the Remexian team. We bought a 51% majority stake in Remexian. They're an absolute leader in the German market. They sold 16% of all grams imported into Calgary. I'm in Calgary. Imported into Germany in Q2. And there was 43 tons that were imported in Q2. Remexian sold 7 tons in Q2. That's 16% of the market. We worked so hard here in Canada. It took us 6-7 years to get to 12% of the market share. And we're starting in Germany at 16% of the market share. Now, I don't want to get any hopes high or expectation that we'll just go to 25% because we're starting at 16. 16 is top notch, right? So I couldn't be more happier with the position that we're getting going in Germany and the Rolodex that we have here in Canada. And my phone has not stopped ringing in terms of how many producers want to come on board with us.
Yeah. And is that, I mean, I don't, is that a model that is replicable? Meaning when new markets open up around the world, is that a model that, and I don't know what markets they might be, but is that a model that you see working, right? Find the right spot in the supply chain, especially it's helpful, obviously, if it's being filled with Canadian brands that are exporting to that country. But is that a model that you're looking to follow with your team?
It absolutely is. We want to be the first organized, sophisticated distributor of Canadian and international brands in Germany, and then take that playbook and copy, paste that in Poland, in UK, in Czech Republic, in Australia. And as new markets open up, there's movement in France now. They're talking about medical cannabis that might become a reality very soon. France is a large market. UK is a very large market. Again, 50% of the imports in UK are close to 50% Canadian. So we will get to springboard into other European markets from Germany. That was the whole plan. We need to get Germany right. We're starting with a sizable player in Germany. But having said that, we can rinse and repeat the same mantra, including buying other distributors, local distributors in these other markets, and taking our menu that we've already established in Germany into other markets.
It's going to be a lot of frequent flyer miles for Omar flying around the world.
I don't think Omar needs any more. He has enough. But listen, Omar is well respected and well sought out, highly sought out in all of these jurisdictions. He's actually heading to Germany in December. I hear that the German government is also interested in hearing from him and in how we're doing things in Canada. So yeah, his air miles are not going down anytime soon.
Right, and it wasn't going to be August in Germany. It was only going to be December and January. Right, you gotta weather for weather. It's the same. So we'll bring the big coats. I want to ask you sort of about obviously a publicly traded company, 207 store footprint in Canada, the operation in Germany. Talk about what that means, sort of obviously for stock price, but also for investors. What can they expect as time goes on in this quarter and beyond?
We're an exciting cannabis company to bet on. We have a track record. We have 207 stores today, but look at our ambitions. We're going to 300 stores in the long term and then some in Canada. And we keep on proving, like you said, every 2 weeks, we're looking at your press release, Raj. That's not going to stop. We'll keep you busy, continue to look at our press releases, but that's just the Canadian plan. But look at what we've just done in Germany. 2 large federally legal markets. We have 12% of the market share and 16% of the market share in grams. And that's a starting point. HITI is a company to bet on. I bet my money on it. And, I'm the largest shareholder in the company or at that top level. And that's not going to change because I believe in where we're going and investors are starting to take a notice. You can see what's happening to our stock price. Finally, there's some momentum and earnings are not even here yet. So we'll save some excitement for them.
We'll have you back on. But I want to, because we've been talking to you for a long time on this platform and others, like, 2 things. One, it must feel good to execute on a plan and sort of see it come to fruition. And I wonder, even in the early days here, when you were opening up stores and opening up a lot of them, if, over 200 was on the playbook, right? Was it, we're going to get to this number and we think, and the playbook is this, when you were talking to investors 3-4 years ago, was it, we think we're going to have a footprint of over 200 stores in Canada because of XYZ? Or has there been, there's been some attrition, not from you, but from others, and that opens up more white space. Like, if you looked at the playbook 3 or 4 years ago to now, how close has it been followed, and sort of things that are under your control?
We follow through exactly on what we've said. In fact, we've been raising the bar. So initially, the long-term goal was 200. We upped that to 250 locations. Then we worked very hard to convince the Ontario government that look at what's happening in Ontario in terms of illicit market rates. That's not the situation in Alberta. Alberta is an open territory. There's no limits on licenses, but we have the lowest illicit rates in the country in Alberta. Ontario is not there. Quebec is far from there, and the Ontario government realized it. Like that's the way to go, and we were able to up that cap from 75 to 150. And as soon as that happened, we upped that target to 300 stores long term. Again, I like to walk before I run and prove the execution that we all talk about very religiously at HITI. But I think we go much beyond 300 stores. We have a clear pathway to get there, but I'll speak again when it's time.
When it's closer. And I wonder, as you look at sort of what's happening in the U.S. with regulatory uncertainty, all the banking, all of the things that with the challenge in the U.S. and even the footprints of some of the largest MSOs, I think you're bigger than some of them, right? Like, and many of them are super, I call it, they're MSOs, yes, and they operate in a number of states, but most of their retail footprint certainly is in one state or two. Like, are you looking at that with, like, how do you look at what's happening in the U.S.? Like, is it enticing? Is it still ridiculous? Is it like, do you think they're 3 or 5 years away? Like, how are you looking at what's going on in the U.S.? Because that sort of dominates a lot of the cannabis conversation for sure.
Let me just say this for the record. We are the second largest retail brand globally, right? So that includes Americans, Canadians, and everybody else in the universe. And we are approximately $600 million in revenue now, approximately. Again, we've not reported, but we're almost there now. But what's happening in the US is not currently exciting, just simply given we can't get involved with any plant touching businesses. We are on the NASDAQ stock exchange, given those rules. But what we are excited about is no one has a clue in terms of what has happened in Canada over the last 6 years. 60% of the businesses don't exist anymore. The bankruptcies that we've all been through, and we've seen it with our own eyes. HITI came pretty close in 2019. It was very tough times. We survived, but the playbook that we have now is going to be lethal in the United States, my friend. I have more than a couple of strategies to start acting in the US, even potentially after the rescheduling news through a licensing play that we're looking at. It's not fully baked in, so I'll just leave it there. But long term, US is the most exciting market for us. We will be there. Maybe it's 3 years, maybe it's next year, maybe it's 5 years. You can
Your guess is as good as any. Yeah, it's so unpredictable what's happening there. Well, Raj, I want to thank you because you're always quite open with what you're doing, interested and able to talk about it as coherently, maybe more so than most in the industry. But also you have a lens of both having been through challenging times and now enjoying the fruits of your labor, but also with a lens to what's happening outside of Canada as well, which is super interesting and important to hear as well. So I want to appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us here today. And we look forward to having you back as you reach the 250 store open mark, which it won't be that long. It's every couple of weeks we get the announcement. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Raj. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, my friend. Always appreciate it. Thank you.